Welcome to Bodybuilding Nation. Today we're diving into the official scorecards from the FIBO Men's Open competition and previewing the upcoming Pittsburgh Pro, plus some exciting updates from around the bodybuilding world. FIBO scorecards reveal surprising results. The official scorecards from the FIBO Men's Open bodybuilding competition have been released, revealing an incredibly close battle between Andrew Jacked and Sasan Heirati. In a stunning development, only a single point separated these elite competitors after prejudging, with Sasan actually leading Andrew by that narrow margin, arguably the most surprising result of the entire season so far. However, it's important to clarify that Andrew Jacked didn't simply win the overall competition by a single point. He made significant improvements between prejudging and finals, delivering an exceptional performance in the evening show that earned him unanimous first-place votes from the judges, securing his victory. There's been considerable discussion in the community suggesting that Andrew appeared 5 weeks out in terms of conditioning at FIBO Germany. In my assessment, this characterization isn't entirely accurate. This perception seems primarily based on the appearance of Andrew's hamstrings and glutes throughout the competition, both during prejudging and finals. We should recognize that this has consistently been the case with Andrew Jacked throughout his professional career. We have yet to see truly striated hamstrings and deeply separated glutes from him in any competition to date. While these areas appeared somewhat tighter at this year's Arnold Classic, the level of conditioning many fans desire to see in Andrew's lower body, particularly from the rear, may simply not be physiologically achievable for him based on his structure and tissue distribution. Nevertheless, the overall superior bodybuilder emerged victorious. Andrew brought sufficient conditioning combined with overwhelming size and structural advantages that proved too significant to overlook. Still, major credit goes to Sasan Heirati for pushing a top 5 Olympian to the limit and even surpassing him in one round of judging, an outcome few would have predicted. It's clear that with more strategic show selection, Sasan will likely secure his Olympia qualification this year. Sergio Oliva Jr.'s comeback assessment. Let's discuss Sergio Oliva Jr., who placed third in his competitive return after nearly 2 years away from the stage. Some observers questioned this placement, noting that the fourth-place competitor, Justin from Germany, displayed an impressive package, particularly during final comparisons with Sergio. First and foremost, congratulations to Sergio for making his comeback and returning to the competitive stage. As a professional, competing is fundamental to his career, but the critical question remains, what's the optimal path forward for Sergio Oliva Jr.? His leg development looked spectacular at FIBO, and his overall conditioning was superb, possibly the best conditioning we've seen from him on stage. This was especially evident in his lower body, with impressive hamstring and glute definition. However, at 40 years old, we must realistically assess his competitive prospects. Given the depth of talent at upcoming shows like the Pittsburgh Pro or New York Pro, breaking into the top 5 at either event seems unlikely for Sergio in his current state. The most prudent approach might be returning to an off-season phase, focusing on rebuilding his chest and developing the back density he lost during recovery from shoulder and ankle injuries. A more strategic return later this year, closer to the Olympia, might provide a better opportunity to secure qualification. While this assessment may seem harsh, it's grounded in competitive reality. Sergio's last professional victory came 9 years ago at the 2017 New York Pro. The sport has evolved dramatically since then, with an influx of younger, hungrier talent consistently pushing boundaries. Sergio finds himself in the later stages of his career, facing increasingly challenging competition. Nevertheless, Sergio and his coach Stefan deserve recognition for the package they brought to FIBO Germany. To secure Olympia qualification this year, however, significant additional improvements will be necessary. Justin, Germany's rising star. The German competitor Justin, who placed 4th behind Sergio, warrants attention as well. At just 26 years old, Justin brings impressive size and muscularity to the stage. With targeted improvements, reducing his waistline, adding mass in strategic areas to enhance his V-taper, and developing greater upper back density, he could become a formidable competitor in the coming years. His youth provides ample time for development, raising questions about whether he'll continue competing this season or take an extended off-season to make comprehensive improvements for next year. Regarding the final placements, Some active professionals have publicly stated they believed Sasan should have won over Andrew Jacked. James Hollingshead and Jordan Janowitz have both shared their perspectives on this outcome, adding another layer to the ongoing discussion about the results. Martin Fitzwater's Pittsburgh Pro preparation. Looking ahead to the Pittsburgh Pro, scheduled in less than 4 weeks, we've received a training update from Martin Fitzwater. Martin and his coach Stefan have reportedly decided to emphasize conditioning for this show, especially after learning of Derek Lunsford's participation. His recent update reveals impressive shoulder striations despite being nearly a month from competition day. The Pittsburgh Pro will showcase an interesting dynamic between contrasting physiques. Derek Lunsford and Nick Walker represent opposite ends of the men's open bodybuilding spectrum, Nick embodying the mass monster, freakish element, while Derek represents aesthetic excellence with remarkable shape. Martin Fitzwater occupies a middle ground between these approaches. While Martin won't match Nick's sheer size or Derek's structural aesthetics, he brings a compelling combination of excellent shape with significant thickness and density. Compared to Derek, Martin carries more size, particularly in frontal and side poses, while his conditioning at last year's Olympia was exceptional, arguably among the best in the top tier of competitors. The question remains whether Martin can surpass the conditioning he displayed at last year's Olympia, widely regarded as perfect peaking from front to back. The amount of additional muscle mass Martin brings to Pittsburgh will significantly influence his placement. If Nick Walker delivers his absolute best package, as he confidently predicts, Martin would need substantially more size than he showed at the Olympia to remain competitive. As the breakout star of 2024, Martin carries significant momentum into his first show of this year. To achieve his stated goal of a top 3 Olympia placement, he'll need to deliver an extraordinary package at Pittsburgh that builds upon his previous successes. Roelly Winkler. 4 years post-retirement. For those wondering about Roelly Winkler's current physique 4 years into retirement, FIBO Expo provided an answer. The legendary mass monster made an appearance, removing his shirt and hitting poses for fans, revealing he still maintains impressive development. Roelly took an extended break from training and dietary discipline following his retirement, which was primarily prompted by a shoulder injury. This injury had already compromised his training during his final competitive years, reflected in his 2021 Olympia placing, his worst since 2015. His decision to retire before further aggravating this injury was undoubtedly prudent. Despite inconsistent training, Roelly's renowned arm development and deltoid mass remain impressive at age 47. With several months of dedicated preparation, he could potentially ready himself for the Masters Olympia. However, this raises questions about whether such a return would justify the physical risks involved, as he would still need to undertake intensive preparation protocols. It's also unclear whether Roelly has the mental desire to return to the rigorous commitment competitive bodybuilding demands. Regardless, it's wonderful to see Roelly maintaining a presence at bodybuilding expos. He's earned tremendous respect within the community and remains one of the most beloved fan favorites of his era. Momar, Classic Physique's newest star. Finally, let's discuss Momar, who made his Classic Physique professional debut at FIBO against veteran competitor and former Olympian Valentin Petrikok. Though unable to secure victory in his pro debut, Momar's structure immediately signals the arrival of an exciting new talent in the division. The judges' assessment indicated Momar presented a more classically oriented physique than Valentin across all poses. Remarkably, Momar hasn't previously prioritized leg training, having competed primarily in men's physique before transitioning to classic. This suggests tremendous potential for improvement with focused development over the coming year. Momar possesses exceptional lines, shape, and aesthetics, complemented by impressive size for the division. Even while waiting for callouts, his silhouette was captivating, showcasing a tiny waistline, excellent abdominals, and detailed serratus development. According to the scorecards, he solidly secured second place, an impressive achievement for a divisional debut. When Chris Bumstead was champion, he predicted the Classic Physique division would eventually attract genetic standouts who could emerge unexpectedly to transform the competitive landscape. Momar's arrival seems to validate this prediction. How would you rate Momar's physique within the Classic Physique division, and what are your expectations for his future competitive appearances? That concludes today's coverage from Bodybuilding Nation. If you enjoyed this analysis, please support the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing for more comprehensive bodybuilding content. Thank you for watching.